Hello everyone, it's Holly. Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be doing something different, something I've never done before, and that is book reviews on adult books. I've done many book reviews in the past on kid books, kids' school books, curriculum, but I've never shared any books that I've read. With summer coming up, I really felt led to do this because summertime to me means a time when I can get more reading done. I don't know what it is about the summer months. I just feel that there's more time to sit and have that leisure time in the afternoon to get some good reading done. I think because during the school year, it's just a busier time. But in the summertime, both my kids and I love to sit outside on our back porch on a warm afternoon and curl up to a good book. Also, I can get reading done if we're taking a vacation. And then when we go to the pool, all my kids know how to swim now, and they're usually busy at the pool with their friends. Usually, I have time to sit and read when I'm at the pool with them. So that is the many reasons why I find summertime is the best time to get some reading done. Let me get right into it and share with you the books that I read recently and give you my honest review of them. The first book is People We Meet on Vacations by Emily Henry. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed this book. I started reading this book the beginning of last summer. It was just a really fun book to read during the summer, mostly because all throughout the book, they're traveling, and it just gave me that fun feeling that I get from traveling, from planning trips, anything to do with travel in general. I've mentioned this before on my channel, but I love to travel. Travel is my passion, and I hope to do more of it. In this book, the main character was very relatable, and I think that's why I like certain books, is when I could relate to the character. But the main character in the book, she really loved traveling, and it was fun going to these different places with them, her and her traveling companion in the book. Now, this book is a romantic comedy, and spoiler alert, pretty much all the books I read are romantic comedies. A brief description on this book: it's about two best friends, 10 summer trips. It's the story of Alex and Poppy. They have nothing in common. She has an adventurous side. He prefers to stay home with a book. And somehow, ever since a fateful car share home from college many years ago, they are the very best of friends. For most of the years, they live far apart. She's in New York City and he's in their small hometown. But every summer for decades, they have taken one glorious week of vacation together. Until 2 years ago, when they ruined everything and haven't spoken since. Poppy has everything she would want, but she's stuck in a rut. When someone asks when she was last truly happy, she knows without a doubt that it was on that ill-fated final trip with Alex. And so she decides to convince her best friend to take one more vacation together. Miraculously, he agrees. Now she has a week to fix everything. In this book, it jumps back and forth to different time periods. It'll start out in the present day, and then it'll go back from when they first met. Then it'll jump back to present day. It'll just keep repeating until it's in present day and the story all ties together. Without giving it away, I will say I did not really like the ending. I enjoyed the book all throughout. I really did have fun reading it. It was a page turner for me. I looked forward to every time I got to sit down and read, but I was disappointed with the ending. I don't know if I could have made a better ending, but sometimes I just don't like outcomes of things. I'm not saying I didn't like the actual ending, but I didn't like the reason why they hadn't spoke to each other in 10 years or however long the time period was. But overall, I do recommend the book. I think this book would be really fun for a summer read, for a book to take on a vacation. I am actually hoping to read more of Emily Henry's books. I've already put some of them on hold at our library, and hopefully I will be able to read some of them during the summertime. But anyways, that is the first book I recommend, People We Meet on Vacation. Now, I didn't explain this before, but where I get a lot of my books, I actually found most of them in those freestanding libraries that they'll have in neighborhoods where they say, take a book, leave a book. We have one over by our neighborhood pool, and it's so close to our house we could walk to it. So that is how I ended up finding majority of these books. But you could find all of these books on Amazon, and you can find them all at your local library, most likely. I will have links to all these books as well in the description box below if you want to find them more conveniently. All right, the next book that I read was called Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. And if you're not familiar with Christina Lauren, it's actually two different people. There's Christina and there's Lauren. I can't remember their last names, but it is a book written by two female authors. A brief description of Love and Other Words. Macy is settling into an ambitious routine. She works hard as a new pediatrician resident, planning her wedding to an older, financially secure man, keeps her head down and her heart tucked away. But when she runs into Elliot, the first and only love of her life, the careful bubble she's constructed begins to dissolve. Once upon a time, Elliot was Macy's entire world, growing up from her gangly, bookish friend into the man who coaxed her heart open again, only to break it on the very night he declares his love for her. Told in different timelines between now and then, teenage Elliot and Macy grow up from friends to much more, spending weekends and lazy summers together in the house outside San Francisco. They're devouring books, sharing favorite words, talking through their growing pains and triumphs. As adults, they have become strangers to one another until their change reunites. Although their memories are obscured by the agony of what happened that night so many years ago, Elliot will come to understand the truth behind Macy's decade-long silence and will have to overcome the past and himself to retrieve her faith in the possibility of an all-consuming love. This also was a book I really enjoyed reading all the way through. And in some ways, it was a lot like People We Meet on Vacations, mainly because one, the main girl in the book was very relatable. I don't know, connected with her somehow with some things in her personality. And also it was similar because it jumped back and forth with the timeline. It started off in present day and then it went back when they first met. Yeah, I can't believe how similar it was. There's a lot of books out there where it will jump back and forth in the timeline. And it just so happens that I read one book like that, and then the next book I read was like that. It is another romantic comedy, but it is a totally different story. Now, did I like the ending? I didn't like the ending. Just like the other book, I did not like the reason why they stopped speaking to each other for that many years. I don't know. It was not what I thought it was going to be. But again, I really enjoyed the story all throughout. In the end, the book as a whole, I do recommend. I did enjoy. I am curious to know if other people read these books or if you have read any of these books. Maybe you could tell me if you thought the ending was good, if you thought the outcome of why they didn't speak to each other in that many years made sense, if you agreed. Anyways, this is another one of my reads. This is another one that I would in fact recommend for a fun read. And then the last book I read was The Girl He Used to Know by Tracy Garvis Graves. This was another book where it starts off present, goes back in time, and goes back and forth to present time, back in time. I don't know how I ended up getting 3 books in a row that all had the same type of style, but it works because I enjoyed it. It's another romantic comedy. A Brief Description of the Girl He Used to Know is a book about Annika, who is an English major at the University of Illinois, anxious in social situations where she finds most people's behavior confusing. She'd rather be in the library surrounded by books or playing a quiet game of chess. Jonathan joins the chess club and lost his first game and his heart to the shy and awkward yet brilliant and beautiful Annika. He admires her ability to be true to herself, quirky and all. Jonathan and Annika bring out the best in each other, and slowly but surely they fall in love. Neither of them could have possibly foreseen the tragedy that shattered their relationship and tears them apart. Now, a decade later, fate reunites Annika and Jonathan in Chicago. She's living a quiet life as a librarian. He is a Wall Street whiz, recovering from a divorce and seeking a fresh start. The attraction and strong feelings they once shared are instantly rekindled. But unless they confront the circumstances that drove them apart, their second chance at love and happiness will end before it truly begins. Overall, I enjoyed this book. The only thing I did not enjoy about it in the beginning, I did not find the main female character to be relatable, and mainly because I didn't get her personality. Later in the book, however, I found out she had autism, and I was kind of guessing that was the reason why she was doing all these quirky things, but it was hard for me to relate to it while I was reading the book, but as a whole, I did really enjoy the book. And then towards the end of the book, something caught me by surprise. I didn't even think they were going in this direction. It turned into a big time page turner for me. I really enjoyed the ending. Out of these few books I'm talking about, this was the book that I enjoyed the ending the most. So I can recommend it because I enjoyed reading it throughout. I eventually got into the character. Even if I didn't relate to her as much, I really did get into liking the character more and more as I got through it. Now, I do have to be honest when it came to these 3 books. One of the things I did not like about all 3 of these books is they did have language. They had some language that I personally don't care for. And if you do not like reading books that are going to have language in it, then you probably don't even want to bother with them at all. I really have a hard time watching movies, rated R movies when there's language in them. In books, I don't necessarily care for them, but at least I'm not hearing them out loud and I could just not read that part. I don't have to actually read those bad words, but I just wanted to point that out. I don't think it is overkill when it comes to the language, but it is there. Also, all 3 of these books, unfortunately, have sexual content in them. I'm also not a big fan when it comes to reading that. I don't think it is overkill. In each book, it only gets brought up as far as it being graphic only once. So I do not recommend any of these books for teenage girls. I am letting you know that these are adult books. I just wanted to be honest about that. I do not look for books that have this kind of stuff, but they happen to have them. And, sometimes I might just skip over that part if I don't feel comfortable reading it. Anyways, those are the 3 books that I read last summer and into the fall. And those are the books that I just wanted to give my review on. I hope you found this helpful. I hope that it might have given you some new ideas for new books. If you enjoyed this video or got any value out of it, please hit the like button. I appreciate you watching and may you have a beautiful day.